Stay up to date on the latest in music with Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light. Join the Sound Up Pod Squad simply by liking our Facebook, following us on X, and signing up for our weekly newsletter at sounduppod.com.
This is Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light, the only music podcast that matters.
Hey, I'm Mark Goodman.
And I'm Alan Light.
On this episode of Sound Up, singer and songwriter Rachel Platten joins us to talk about her latest release, I Am Rachel Platten. And we will pay tribute to music icon Kris Kristofferson.
In the news, Arnel Pineda speaks out again on his status in Journey. A BTS member gets caught driving drunk on a scooter. And Courtney Love becomes a grandparent. Oasis coming to the US, and YouTube blocks some big names and big songs.
All this, plus our new music picks of the week, and a concert review or two from you, the Sound Up Pod Squad. Before we get to all of that, we have some big news. Sound Up is headed to Cleveland for a live podcast taping from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum, Saturday, October 19th, the day of the 2024 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
You can join us at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum from 10 a.m. to noon as we tape a special episode of Sound Up with special guests and you, the Sound Up Pod Squad. Dozens of you have already connected with us to let us know you will be joining us there.
Look out. Sound Up live from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum, Saturday, October 19th, 10 a.m. Eastern. We hope to see you there. Email us and let us know if you're going to be able to come. Email us at connect@sounduppod.com.
Gonna be great. Gonna be exciting to see all you guys. We'll see who comes and joins us, who swings by. Out of all the inductees, guests, presenters, performers, it'll be great.
It's going to be a really, really fun day. We're looking forward to seeing you guys face to face.
So before we dive into some music news today, and happy Rocktober, one and all, the music and entertainment community said goodbye to a true legend over the weekend. Kris Kristofferson passed at the age of 88.
Wow.
What an unbelievable life.
True enough. A really fascinating
Where do
guy.
you start with a guy who was a Rhodes Scholar, helicopter pilot,
and a janitor,
award-winning fiction writer, turned studio janitor, wrote some of the greatest songs in country music history, and then became a big Hollywood star who made over 30 movies, an activist. It's like one of those, rides of a lifetime that you just can't believe all happened to one guy.
And the amount of things in so many areas, as you just said, that he excelled at.
Yeah.
It wasn't, he did that. No, he excelled. He was a Rhodes Scholar. The guy could quote paragraphs of William Blake, one of his favorite poets. The thing that interests people, and what got me first was, I remember The Silver-Tongued Devil and I, that album coming out. And that was the one, that was his second. And that was, I think I'm right on that. Am I right, Alan?
I think that's right.
And that was the one that started to get play on rock radio. And that was, and right around that time was Me and Bobby McGee by Janis Joplin. All right in that moment.
Well, I'm curious. I was going to ask you that, he's one of those, we became aware of him so much through the affiliations and through the recordings of the songs that he wrote, and then through the Highwaymen Project and going out with Willie and Waylon and Cash, and how he became part of like a scene and a set. But in the moment, what was that sort of initial awareness of this guy, and particularly of the stuff that he was writing? Could people put that together at the time?
Well, I mean, this is pre the Highwaymen, and we were it's 1970.
Yeah,
so we were. I mean, where rock was at that moment was, a huge moment of change. And this, in a certain way, I thought that what was happening in rock was happening in country as well. Johnny Cash and all of these guys in the Highwaymen focused on Dylan and the meaning of what Dylan was writing about. But I remember my first connection was realizing that Me and Bobby McGee was a Kris Kristofferson song. And I think that's the case for most of America. But then we followed him and we started to see what he was doing. And it became obvious fairly quickly the kind of stuff that he was writing. I mean, he wrote one of the greatest lines of all time. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose.
He wrote more than a few of some of the greatest lines of all time. Those songs, the pinnacle songs from Kris Kristofferson, there's something that's so unique in that writing, in that tone, in the imagery. I mean, when you look at For the Good Times, oof. Help Me Make It Through the Night, which there's a book that I love called Heartaches by the Number. That's a sort of history of, says that is the greatest country music song ever written. That Help Me Make It Through the Night, Sammy Smith version, is number 1 on their list of the 500 greatest country songs. Yeah. Sunday Morning Coming Down.
Yeah.
Last week we were watching the episode of Columbo that Johnny Cash starred in. This is true.
Okay.
And there's a scene where Sunday Morning Coming Down is playing. And everything just stopped, like it cuts through everything.
Yeah.
That you were writing that song with all of the, the despair and the the brutal honesty and the emotion of that song. And then the sort of glimmer of moving forward. And, it's just like nobody could write a song like that.
It's true. Simple eloquence. He really just could turn a phrase so simply. And I mean, the thing that people focus on is that whole new wave of people in country, all the Highwaymen and beyond, John Prine, and I could go on, all these people who were moving away from the Nashville sound. It was revolutionary at that moment. They were trying to do something different.
And again, then turning into the movie star that he became.
He may be the only actor or production person that survived Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
Probably the biggest, most famous failure in Hollywood history.
Became the example of a flop.
Yeah. And he survived.
But you forget, you don't forget Star is Born, it's such an iconic thing. But Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, and Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea, and, all the way up through Lone Star. More recently, it's a genuinely distinguished acting career. It's not like just sort of this later chapter. Just an extraordinary thing. And how much that one moment with Sinead defined
I'm glad
this
you
guy.
Mentioned that. Can you remind people what happened?
For those, and especially for those sort of a step away from the country community or whatever it is, who maybe didn't know, the younger generation and the rock and rollers, when Sinead was, participated in the Dylan Fest in the 50th birthday, 30th anniversary show at Madison Square Garden. And it was the week after the SNL appearance. And she came out and got booed by the crowd and tried to sing, but, and ended up having to cut short and walk off. It was Kris Kristofferson who went out and put his arm around her and said, "Don't let the bastards get you down," and walked her off stage. And he was the one who reached out in that moment. And I am seeing so many people posting that photo and saying, this is who that guy was.
Yes.
That in the Nashville community that he came up in, this was an outspoken left-wing activist writing songs about the political situation in Central America and fighting other stars about it when they would, take him up on it. A man of such conviction in the work and in his own actions. And you just, there is no one who will say a bad thing about the guy.
It is true. That moment and some of the photos of that moment of him bravely strolling out there, putting his arm around her, you could see him whispering in her ear. It's wow. And in retrospect, she was spot on.
As we know, history, all the ways that history has vindicated Sinead, all the way that story was as, tragic as it was. But that moment representing somebody who was there with that empathy, with that humanity, and he was that guy. And that's what came through in those songs, and that's what came through in the work. And, he had a hard last. It was, initially there was sort of the thought he was suffering from dementia, and then it was determined that it was Lyme disease, and there was treatment that he did get better after he had gotten worse, but had not been, an easy last decade or so for Kris. And, meantime, the miracle that is Willie Nelson keeps rolling down the road.
Yeah, really, that's all that's left of the Outlaws. Unless you want to count Jim Webb, who certainly deserves to be included, but people don't know him quite as much, but a great songwriter and part of that outlaw movement.
Out of the front line of that movement.
But Willie, that's it, right? And this guy, Willie Nelson, I can't wait to celebrate his 100th. It's going to happen.
He's still got those. He's still got the years in him.
He's incredible.
We know it.
He's incredible. So.
Do you guys think that because Kris Kristofferson wrote so many songs for other people that became so famous? Like, I feel like some people came into his career and think he's more of a movie star than he was a musician.
Oh, I think for sure.
Some people, especially younger folks, may only know him from like the Blade franchise. And
that's exactly that's not A Star Is Born, although certainly there's a significant amount of people who remember that. But it's right. He was his armorer, right?
Yeah, he was kind of the guy who took care of Wesley Snipes' character in, I think, 3 of the franchise movies.
Wow, he wrote songs?
That gets you to another generation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, look, he did not have, what you would call a conventionally great voice. No one, including him, would argue that those recordings were a certain thing. It was remarkable that he did have, actual hits on his own.
On his own.
Given that limits. I mean, like Leonard Cohen, he became certainly initially known so much more through other people singing his songs.
You just mentioned Leonard Cohen, who I'm just remembering now. That is what he is having printed on his gravestone. The first 3 lines of Bird on a Wire.
Bird on a Wire, yeah. It's on somebody else's gravestone as well, I believe.
Probably. It's going to be on mine if I have a gravestone. I'm going to put it on the little pot of ashes.
It's good. You can etch it in there. So.
Etch it in there.
Well,
but wow, it's a huge loss, and it does happen whenever someone passes, and we actually step back and take a look at the breadth of work that this guy has contributed. Whew, a great loss.
Yes.
Great loss.
All right.
It'll be interesting to see in the next coming days and weeks how many performers who are out touring right now do Me and Bobby McGee or do some of these songs live.
For sure. So goodbye, Kris Kristofferson.
Gave us a lot.
Indeed. Let's move on. We've got some great concert reviews that we want to give to you, and stick around too, because we've got music news and more coming up on this episode of Sound Up.
Got some concert reviews from you guys a little bit later on, but I had a busy week. Let me run quickly through the 3 shows that I went to this week, which really are a motley bunch. Make of it what you will, that this is what my life is like. Number 1 was last Tuesday night going to see Neil Young at the Capitol Theater in Port Chester, New York. Really, the whole situation really interesting. I mean, as you might recall, Neil was out doing Crazy Horse dates over the summer. 1 or so of the Crazy Horse guys got really sick, and they had to cancel all those dates. He needed to get something together to play for Farm Aid, so he pulled together a new band that he is calling the Chrome Hearts, which includes one of Willie's kids. We were talking Willie Nelson. Micah Nelson is part of this. Spooner Oldham is playing the organ. The legend that is Spooner Oldham is playing the organ, and I don't even know who the bass player and drummer are, but he did Farm Aid, and then he did these 2 nights at the Capitol Theater, and that's it. These were kind of, is this a band I want to play with? And if it's good, then we'll see what happens. For that, they sounded pretty damn good. I mean, I have no idea how rehearsed or what it was, but it's kind of an interesting band that can do some range of doing the Crazy Horse stuff, but doing more of the acoustic stuff and whatever. Neil sounded fantastic. I have to say that. It was it was Neil, so it was kind of a wonky set, right?
Yeah.
It started and ended really strong. He played a bunch of stuff from Harvest Moon, which is an album that is important to me, and I'm grateful for. He played a knockout Powderfinger late in the set. That's one of the greatest songs ever written. So there's that. Opened and closed with songs from Mirrorball, the Pearl Jam album.
Interesting.
Really good. I'm the Ocean to open and Throw Your Hatred Down to close. But in the middle, there was a little bit of weird, like he played. The Neil superfans were like, wow, he played Hey Babe from American Stars and Bar. Like, I don't care about hearing him play that song. So it did kind of feel like, let me try these guys doing different kinds of things and see what this band is. And that sort of led into a set that was a little, all over the place.
Did he do any older, like Crazy Horse era stuff?
He did Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere.
I guess you kind of have to. I don't know with Neil.
Well, I don't know. He doesn't have to do anything. He did play Down by the River the first night, not the night that I went. Cool.
I wonder how long that was.
13 minutes, I believe, I was told.
Sweet.
So
that's what I'm talking about.
Not happy about missing that, but missed that. But look, I've seen Neil Young 800 million times, and I love him, and hadn't seen him for a while, and it was very like, I want to see one. want to see one more show.
Yeah.
Like before he can't do it or I can't do it, you know, I'm at that stage. And if this is what it goes out on, I'm good. Like there were definitely, the highs were very high.
Not that he's making any noise about leaving.
Oh, no. Insistent that he's not. But
yeah,
you know, no, could turn around tomorrow and do anything. So
yeah,
glad to have made it up for that. Then on Friday, went to see Jelly Roll at Madison Square Garden. Saw two artists play Madison Square Garden for the first time over the weekend, which is always fun.
Yeah.
Because you just still see what that means to people. Jelly Roll like wouldn't stop talking about, I'm playing Madison. He brought his mom. He brought, you know, it was one of those shows. He like kept talking about the people who came with him for this show and what it meant. And it was a big week. Jelly Roll did that. He did SNL. He played the Global Citizen Festival on Saturday. So he kind of took New York over the weekend. And the spirit was, he was so psyched to be there. Post Malone came out. And they did 3 songs together, a big face tattoo summit.
I was just going to say, I would like to see that on the big screen.
On one stage. But it was pretty fun. They did Friends in Low Places. Then they did the duet on the Posty album that they do together. And then they did the big duet, the Morgan Wallen duet. That's the huge hit with Jelly Roll doing that part. Like, what's not fun about that?
Exactly. What more do you want? That's great.
The Jelly Roll story is so great. And he's such a likable figure. And some of the music is just sort of generic. I mean, some of the especially sort of more up stuff is just kind of whatever. But when he does those handful of, you know, those really personal ballads, when he does Save Me and I Am Not Okay and, you know, Son of a Sinner and I Need a Favor, like it's just a thing that, you know, the room just clicks in. And he does something that, you know, other people just don't deliver that way, right? That sense of like, I have been to the bottom, you can turn your life around, you know. And when he closed with Save Me, I looked down the row, not making this up. There was a guy like a few seats down in a Hell's Angels vest.
Love it.
Like on the other side of the aisle, a young guy in sort of a flowery shirt, and then behind him, an older woman. And all of them just like practically in tears in it, singing that song. So what am I going to say? I have to give that there's a vein that he is mining that is really powerful when he turns it on. And then finally went to see Sabrina Carpenter on Sunday night at Madison Square Garden.
I'm curious. I mean, big star, obviously.
Big star, big record.
How is she live?
She was really good. I mean, it's not, you know, I think the thing, as you know, I think this record, this short and sweet record is so smart. Mm-hmm. These songs are so incredibly well written and clever, and the variety is strong. And she's a theater kid, and that comes across in the production. It's sort of in 3 acts, done like it's an old style TV show. You know, the first is kind of like a Mary Tyler Moore sort of like, it's the Sabrina Carpenter show. And, you know, and then there's the sort of Sabrina After Dark, like it's some late night, you know, Playboy After Dark kind of a thing. And there's vintage, you know, cameras on the stage. And it's not a big, you know, it doesn't factor in, but it kind of frames it through that thing. And I love fans and seeing the 10-year-old girls losing their mind. Material that's not always appropriate for 10-year-old girls to be singing along with, but, you know, loving every second of it. And she delivered really well. And I can't get over how good these songs are. I am just dead serious about, I don't think you can do pop music songcraft right now better than what is on this album.
I was not convinced that she could do what she do live, and I'm happy to hear it.
I mean, she, you know, it's not, and it's clear she could be sort of belting more than she does.
Well, you said she's a stage kid.
There are moments where she turns that on and kind of shows, I can do this, but it's not all about that. So, you know, she does a thing where she does a spin the bottle and it picks a song to cover. And so last night it was Mamma Mia, which I think was what she did this is only the 5th night, but she had done that once before. She did Man, I Feel Like a Woman one night. She did Kiss Me, the Sixpence None the Richer song one night. So, you know, that's sort of in there. And then a moment, I didn't even know what this was until later. She made a tossed off joke at one point where she's like, you know, what should we do next, guys? Should I talk about how I brought this indictment down on the mayor of New York City? And I really didn't even know what the joke was, but there's been all this coverage overnight that apparently there was a whole thing when she shot the video for the song Feather in Our Lady of Mount Carmel Annunciation Church in Brooklyn. And the Monsignor was stripped of his duties at the church for allowing this like sexy video to get shot on the premises. So if you're not following the Eric Adams story, just please catch up, because it's, even in New York City politics, this is next level bonkers. The first mayor in the 400-year history of New York City to be indicted on criminal charges for corruption and bribery charges that are bananas. So there was a federal subpoena issued to the church to obtain information between that Monsignor and his friend who was Eric Adams' chief of staff. Led to, and apparently the statement given by the church linked this to the internal investigation around the video shoot. So she's not even joking when she said she was part of bringing down this indictment. So I don't even, I'm not going to, the details are ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous, but that was the news break out of the Sabrina show.
Wild. Kind of love that. Wow. And so you saw her publicist didn't set that up?
I don't know. It's good work.
Genius.
From somebody. But all these shows fun in their own way, I got to say. I mean, Neil Young could easily be Sabrina Carpenter's grandfather to transition us into the news stories this week.
Indeed.
But they all did kind of deliver what you would want from them. So not a bad week.
We do have more reviews from you that we are going to get to, but want to slip into some music news now. Alan, you mentioned grandparents.
Speaking of interesting grandparents.
Speaking of grandparents, I can't even believe that this woman is a grandparent before me. Congratulations, Frances Bean Cobain and her husband, Riley Hawk, have welcomed their first child. Of course, the daughter of Kurt Cobain, revealed on Instagram on Saturday that she and the son of skateboarding champ Tony Hawk are now proud parents to a baby boy. Came out with a skateboard with him. Ronan Walter Cobain Hawk. That is the young man's name. Frances captioned her adorable black and white photos of the newborn, revealing that he was born September 17th. Welcome to the world, most beautiful son. We love you more than anything. So congrats to, congrats not only to Frances.
The spawn of Kurt Cobain and Tony Hawk is the craziest 90s fever dream. Roger said before the show, it's like an AI, 90s child. Just dial it back to that.
Kind of beautiful, though. I don't really spark to infants that much. They all look like Winston Churchill to me, but I mean, cute, really beautiful, I thought.
Saw a nice photo of Tony Hawk holding the baby that he posted this morning. So
it's very sweet.
Grandma Courtney.
God. How did that happen?
I think she's more suited to be the grandma than the mom, though, right? I mean, in some ways, like, she can be the extravagant. She can spoil the kid. Like, she can be in and out, all the Courtney stuff,
right? Like, and then step away, have mom take over. That all works. That's all easy. Not as certainly not as easy through the mom years. But look, everybody came out okay. Well, I was going to say, I if I remember right, didn't she and Courtney have a real rough patch that I guess they are through now? I mean, I thought that there was a time when they were like not even talking. They were really fighting with each other.
Roger was remembering, and I can't remember the details of some guitar of Kurt's that we don't even know. Was that the husband who had it, or?
I don't remember who. I got to go back and look at that.
Somebody knows that.
There was some drama.
Nobody's going to pretend that's an easy ride for Frances Bean Cobain.
Right. Fair enough. But once the grandchild shows up, things tend to change in families. We've noticed. So congrats to the Cobain Hawk family.
In goofier stories, K-pop megastar Suga of the South Korean boy band BTS has been fined after being caught riding an electric scooter while under the influence of alcohol. He was fined at 15 million won, which is about $11,400, under the Road Traffic Act, said the Seoul Western District Court in a summary order. In August, he was found to have ridden about 500 meters, about 1,500 feet, on an electric scooter after drinking alcohol. He did not injure anyone or cause any damage. How did they find
Man, they're
him?
harsh.
Yeah, well, we know that. His statement was, after the incident last night, I drank while having dinner and returned home riding an electric scooter. I thought it was a short distance and was unaware of the fact that you cannot ride an electric scooter while under the influence of alcohol. I fell down by myself while parking the scooter in front of the gate of my house. And when a police nearby measured my alcohol level, I was fined and my license has been revoked.
The dude got busted for drunk driving in front of his house.
Made it all the way home.
1,500 feet.
Oh,
so
my God.
Maybe 2 blocks.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I have to say, I'm pleased that anybody in this community got in trouble for anything, because they're all so squeaky clean.
The fans were really upset. There was quotes, from statements. It may be nothing in your countries. It is a serious incident in Korea. I don't think it's right for him to do this when he is an idol representing South Korea. I'm really disappointed. So, stakes are higher in that, within the country there. So justice has been done.
No one was hurt.
No one was hurt.
No one was injured.
He fell
Everybody's
down.
fine. He fell down. He fell down in front of his house.
So does he now get a personal scooter driver for him?
Yeah, he just sits on the back on the luggage rack or something. Well, again, I'm glad nobody got hurt. And that is, man, that would teach me a lesson. 11 grand? Jeez.
Look, it's the public shame. We know that.
Ribbons of Shame. Do you remember the Ribbons of Shame from some old Ron Howard movie? All right, moving on. I know that a lot of people, I got tons of emails about Arnel Pineda on this past Journey Def Leppard mega stadium tour. Many of the people that I heard from said that he sounded great, but I got a number of emails where people thought that his singing was off. In response to that, I guess he heard about it too. Arnel has issued his first statement since offering to quit Journey. If you heard about this, he went on to, I believe it was Facebook, and his Facebook page, and said, "You tell me. I'm going to open it up. If you want me to quit, I will quit." So he has been in the band longer than Steve Perry, but man, did this get some attention. He says, "Here's the deal now. I'm offering you a chance, especially those who hated me and never liked me from the very beginning, to simply text go or stay." He declared this in its September 22nd Facebook post, and if go reaches 1 million, I'm stepping out for good. But the response to the ultimatum, to his being criticized over his vocals during the Journey performance in Rock in Rio, that was where things sort of reached a head. And for the first time since asking fans to vote, Pineda has returned with a new message. He's staying.
Imagine
he
that.
is staying in the band. Firstly, I want to apologize for the inconvenience I've caused all of Journey's faithful fans out there. The singer stated in a video that he shared on Instagram, "I know the band's not perfect right now and in turmoil, but who's not going through some bad stuff these days?" Talk about understatement. "I've waited a while before I want to post something again," Pineda continued, "so here I am. Bottom line, good has won, and no matter how screwed our world is, maybe it's caused evil in us in general, or the politicians or the religious leaders that's making us believe in their eccentric point of view are influencing us. But yeah, again, I said that good has won."
Took a weird turn in the middle of that statement.
Took the worldview. I wasn't quite sure, but he's back. He's back in the band. He never left, and he will continue. He thanked I know that he was deeply humbled, as you would imagine, the outpouring of love for the guy. And he was deeply humbled and thanks everyone. He said, "It's overwhelmingly humble." So,
all right.
Welcome back.
While we're on the matter of humble,
yeah,
that, of course, brings us to the latest Oasis news.
It's great. It's great news.
Who have never been accused of any humility whatsoever. But after widespread anticipation and speculation, Oasis have announced the North American leg of their 2025 reunion tour with the statement, "America, Oasis is coming. You have one last chance to prove that you loved us all along." Daring people not to show up for these shows.
They're the best.
So interestingly, 5 North American dates, stadium dates, starting on August 24 in Toronto, then Chicago, East Rutherford, New Jersey, Los Angeles, and Mexico City on September 12th, wrapping up before going back and finishing out their Wembley dates in London that were added. So, the big question has been, how much demand is there in the States for this reunion tour?
Right.
I mean, it's obviously not what it is in the UK. They've never played bigger than an arena in the States ever. So what was this going to look like? And it's, I don't say it's hedging their bets, but it's certainly saying these become sort of destination shows.
Right.
And if they're only doing 5 dates, that means people will travel. The fans will go. It's not like they're doing a full tour and they'll come to your city or your region or whatever it is. It's a very different way to put this thing together. Obviously, there are lots of holes where other dates may be added, either in addition in these stops or other stops. We'll see how it shakes out. But this is clearly a testing the waters a little bit to see, if we do this and that blows up huge, well, we can tack some more on. And if not, we certainly save face by saying we're coming and playing stadiums.
And I think that they do have some stops for family counseling in certain dates.
Well, you've got to build in.
Just in case. And I know that the pool, you probably have one where you're working too. Are they going to make it to the first date? And if they do,
are they going to make it to the last
date? Will they
date?
make it to the last date? Exactly.
But I'm very interested in this. We know what it means in the UK.
Yeah.
We know that. We know that you're talking about, one of the biggest acts of all time. They never were the sensation in the States that they were over there. They had fans, they sold records for sure, but it was not a phenomenon. Has all of the craziness and noise around this escalated things to make it people feel like they got to go see these shows, if they were ever curious about Oasis. And it's going to be really, among the many things that will be fascinating to watch about this tour, how it shakes out in the States. And then how things like, how does that impact, they were on the ballot for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They did not get in. I think they did not get in for this exact reason, that for a overwhelmingly, stateside based voting body, there just isn't that same sense of their significance. Will this reveal that and change what that vote looks like? So it'll ripple out for a while.
It is probably, as you say, smart that they limited the number of appearances in the States for that. Initially, yes. And I've heard no mention of an opener. Have you?
Cage the Elephant is opening the U.S. dates.
All of
they
the
did
dates.
Announce that. All the U.S. dates.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's an interesting one.
Who are great. They're not going to sell tickets.
But I was going to say that we're talking about a stadium here. Def Leppard and Journey, I understand, selling out a stadium.
Yeah, there is not a strong undercard that's going to boost those sales. That is not happening. So registration for the pre-sale, by the way, currently open until Tuesday, October 1st. General ticket on sale will begin Friday, October 4th. I don't understand how any of that stuff works, but for those of you who do, you can register as of now, and then this Friday, October 4th.
It's coming Friday the 4th.
It's coming Friday the 4th is when tickets will go up. So we'll learn a lot. We'll learn something then.
I'm very curious to see how it is handled. We've seen the Taylor Swift mess, the Bruce Springsteen mess. We've seen mess after mess after mess.
With the UK dates, which was a huge mess.
And theirs as well. So, and Ticketmaster is pushing back. They're saying that it's set. They're ready. I'll be curious to see.
Yeah, will this have the same kind of demand that will tax the system in that way? All right, one more. We got one last thing.
One last thing. This is bizarre. Hundreds of classic music videos and songs by Nirvana, Adele, Dylan, Kendrick Lamar, Green Day, and hundreds more currently unavailable on YouTube amid a copyright dispute between the video platform and the performance rights organization CSAC. A YouTube spokesperson told The Hollywood Reporter this weekend that the site and CSAC were unable to reach an equitable agreement before the expiration of their copyright deal. We take copyright very seriously, and as a result, content represented by CSAC is no longer available on YouTube in the U.S., the spokesperson said. We're in active conversations with CSAC and are hoping to reach a new deal as soon as possible. CSAC is the European version of publishing over here in this country.
Well, and sort of the other third player after BMI and ASCAP.
Exactly.
In the publishing business. And these kinds of, Dylan was obviously a big thing when he shifted his catalog to CSAC for administering.
Right.
But Adele and Kendrick and Green Day, significant figures. And
these channels are all blank now.
This stuff gets negotiated and renegotiated. Some agreement came due, and it's, fair enough. These players keep shifting how they get used, what their traffic looks like keeps shifting. And on, the organization on behalf of the artist feels like they haven't gotten the deal they want to see.
And there's some serious artists involved in this, so we will keep our fingers on this. This may not be settled anytime soon. There's a lot of money at stake here.
Yeah, the TikTok agreement with Universal not on the publishing side, but on the mechanical side, went on for a little while. But it's tough because the artists do start to push back, because even if the deal isn't great, to get shut out of a platform does, start to cut into their bottom line, obviously cut into their visibility. There's a push and pull, as with any such negotiation. Who's holding the cards here?
All right. We will see how that one goes, and certainly report more next week. Maybe there'll be some progress. Meantime, Rachel Platten will join us next on Sound Up. Welcome back to Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light. And as promised, we have a very special guest joining us. American singer-songwriter Rachel Platten has continuously written and recorded songs about self-love and perseverance for over a decade as an indie artist, before that major label breakthrough hit in 2015 with Fight Song. The song became an anthem for those battling life's difficulties, from depression to cancer to just navigating life. On the new album, I Am Rachel Platten, motherhood plays a pivotal role. Since her last album in 2017, Rachel has become a mother to 2 daughters. She continues writing songs about love, mental health, and now postpartum. We are thrilled to welcome Rachel Platten to Sound Up, and I salute you on your bravery for every word on this record. And I'll start off by saying that the title of it, just start right there, I Am Rachel Platten, that's a title. That's not a 5th record. That's a first record.
20 years in.
Yeah.
To say, okay, here we go.
Here I am. So you're bravely saying who you are now. So talk about that.
Yeah, it is interesting, right? Like, that should have been the first title, but I think that's really indicative of just how long it took me to truly feel like I know myself and all of me, and feel like I've integrated all the parts of me. And I think that the world with Fight Song and Stand By You, and they got to know one part of me, one side of me, and then I kind of doubled down on that, because I thought, okay, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do, is be empowering and positive and enthusiastic. And that is a part of who I am. But I'm also human, like everyone. And there's darkness, and there's rage, and there's jealousy, and there's fear and grief. And I think I was afraid to kind of show that part of me for a while. And on this album, what happened was that there was no longer a choice, do I or do I not share all of me? My songwriting was saving my life. It was no longer what I thought the world wanted to hear from me. My songwriting was like my companion in my dark night of the soul. And I was writing what I needed to hear.
How scary a thing is that when you see that that's where you're going, when you see, okay, this is what's happening now, and thinking about putting that out in the world. Yeah.
So it took a minute for me to kind of process, okay, now I have this body of work that I have made unintentionally, sort of as an album, but it's telling the story of what I've gone through, who I am, how I've integrated both the dark and the light. And it really walks you through my version of my dark night of the soul back into empowerment. But it's an earned kind of positivity. It's an earned empowerment this time. So by the time you get to my song Set Me Free, you're like, okay, I believe this woman has been through some shit. And I believe that she really is this strong now. And I think that when I kind of understood it all and realized, do I really have to bring this back out into this industry that can be so hard for me, hard for sensitive artists, hard for all of us. It's not the easiest to navigate. And I was really scared, and it took a lot of therapy to realize, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to share, like you said, these things that are literally journal entries, and literally me sobbing on the floor, crying out to God, where are you? Mercy. I can't take another second. And I was like, how the F am I going to share this? How am I going to be okay enough to share this, first of all, because I was going through a mental health crisis. So it took a lot of resourcing, a lot of therapy, a lot of it took a lot of work.
Congratulations. I mean, and I'm not being facetious.
Yeah.
It's really, I wish I was where you were. Let's put it that way. It's really a struggle. It's a really difficult journey for everyone, as you say. can you focus on, or can you isolate what it was that has gotten you to here? You said songwriting saves your life, and you've also said that you found God. You've nailed down your relationship to a God, or the God, he or she, whoever she might be.
Yeah. Yeah. Both, I'm not he or she, but I just mean both in terms of like the songwriting and then faith, and like both of them kind of melded together. And I think what happens on any hero's journey, like, the tale is as old as time, Odyssey, like, Odyssey and Iliad, and like we know, and you guys know Joseph Campbell's work.
Yeah.
He wrote about the hero's journey, and like a lot of us know this pattern. And it was funny for me when I looked back on it and realized like that is exactly what happened to me. It was this longing, and the record literally tells that story. And it was like some kind of a disrupted feeling of like, there's gotta be something more, because I had my dreams come true. I had everything I said I wanted, and I'm sadder than ever. And I'm lonely, and I'm more scared than ever. And I don't know myself, and I feel so lost, and I feel like so insecure when I should be feeling so confident. And what is going on? And so it starts with that feeling. And then like, on any journey like that, which I'm sure, look, Mark and Alan, you guys have had your own journeys and versions of this, as we all have thousands of times throughout our lives. It's just how big. And mine turned out to be right around turning 40, becoming a mother. It was so many changes. And it was like, it wasn't just postpartum depression. It was like this shit was going to come out regardless. I had been keeping it so repressed for so long, and just been trying to be so perfect and so good and so sweet and so delightful and so Botoxed and so skinny and so like whatever I thought the industry like needed me to be in order to stay like with fame that I had chased and tried to get for so long. And I was so terrified for it to leave. So like just all this like forcing myself into this tiny thing. Finally, it just exploded. And I was, after becoming a mother, I suffered greatly with my mental health. And the songwriting throughout that was, like I said, a necessity. It was medicine for me. It was no longer like, how do I write a pop song? And then I found faith. Sorry, go ahead, Alan. Yeah.
No, I was going to say I want you to finish the journey, but is there a line in a song? Is there a moment in a song? Was there something here where you felt that snap to focus?
Yeah.
Was there something that's on this record where you're like, I see what's happening here?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not going to tell you. Okay.
Yes, there was.
We have to guess.
You figure it out. Right.
No, on my song Mercy, I wrote that by myself, and I usually co-write, and I'd come up writing by myself, and like, that's how we all decide we want to be writers. We write by ourselves and figure out we're good at this, and then let's collaborate. But it had been a minute since I like fully wrote something by myself. And it was the middle of the night. My daughter, my 3-month-old at the time, had 105-degree fever. She was in the hospital that night. And it was my second time with postpartum depression. And so I was just so terrified because I knew what happens to my body. And like, I just didn't want it to be happening. But in that moment, that night, something snapped. And I just was like, I'm fully like not okay. And I ran to my studio in the middle of the night. And I remember just feeling so alone and so terrified. And I was on the floor of my studio on the like rug, and I just was sobbing, like pounding my fists against the floor, like mercy. And I remember just saying mercy. And I'm not a particularly spiritual. I mean, I was spiritual, but I wasn't particularly religious or anything.
Religious, yeah.
Yeah, like I was raised Jewish, and Jews were kind of like, God, no God. Yeah. And so I'm just pounding like mercy, mercy, mercy. Like I can't take anymore. And not to go too heavy, but I was just like, I didn't know how to keep living with this much pain. And in that moment, something moved me to go to the piano. And I just started wailing on the piano in a way like that was so guttural and raw. It wasn't like I wasn't writing a song. I was more just like a human expressing deep, deep pain to their makeup, and this wail came out of me like, oh, but that was like, oh, it was just as old as time. Like, that feeling of crying out to like, where are you? Is anyone listening? Where the fuck are you? I can't take it anymore. And the song came rushing through me like an answer. Like, I'm right here. And that thing that you've been collaborating with your whole life, that you called spirit or source or whatever it was, songwriting gods, I'm God, like it's me and I'm here. And it flowed through me. And this song came out, the most gorgeous song. It's so hopeful and like joyful. It's so bizarre. It's like the words are like, why did you leave me all alone? You know, facing the worst pain that I've known. This really hurts me. Maybe it's true I'm getting stronger, but this really hurts me. I'm crying mercy. Those words are like sad, but the music is joyful and sounds like this throwback. I don't know. So anyway, I'd never written anything like that before, in a way like that. I had never had it move through me so quickly that I was chasing it, like grabbing it out of the sky, like slow down. Mm-hmm. And it was clear to me that something was there participating with me. And that kind of started my journey of like, okay. And now I invite it in every day. Like, you do it, God, you do it. I can't do this. I'm a mom of 2 little girls. I'm playing on a morning show tomorrow morning. I
got enough going on.
I have enough. Like, you do it. You want me to be out here again? I'm good.
Can you get God to babysit? That's the question.
Dude, I make him be my dentist. I make him be my stylist. I'm like, you do it. I'm fucking tired. I'm 43. Like, I don't want to be out. I've already had a hit song. Leave me alone. You want me to be out here like giving this music to the world? Fine. Make it easy. And yeah, my publicist is like, oh, please stop talking about this. But yeah.
This is the story. This is the thing.
Yeah, it's me. That's me.
You also, this is left turn, but I really haven't heard anything from Michael Bolton in a while. And wow, you invited, what, how, why, where?
Yeah,
what?
A lot of questions. We're all left with a lot of questions. I had a session with him when I was like newly postpartum with my second daughter, and like I was a mess. Like I don't think I'd showered a while, and like my housekeeper just was so used to so many people coming in and out the door, and this guy knocked. A nice man in a leather jacket. She's like, are you here to walk the dog? Like, I don't know why you're here. And he's like, no, man, I'm Michael Bolton. I'm here for Rachel. And she's like, oh, let me tell her to shower. She's like, Rachel, you have a session. I was like, oh, I totally forgot that. And I go down, like, I think I had just been pumping to get my baby milk. Like, it wasn't good. And I go down and I'm like, dude, I am a mess. I respect you so much. I'm so happy you're here. I don't think I could do it today. Thank you for coming over. And he was just so sweet. He's so cool. He's a dad. He's like, I get it. Why don't we just have fun, man? Just like, let's just relax, have fun, see if something comes. And like an hour in, nothing good was coming. And I was like, again, trying to beg my way out of it. Like, please, Michael Bolton, I'm so tired. Just gotta go. And he's like, no, man, he was so persistent. And he finally had this melody. He's like, there's this melody that I've wanted to write for years. And he sang it to me. He's like, I think I had it since the 70s. I swear to God, I think he said that. Like a cold glass of water in the desert. And I was like, holy shit, that's really good, Michael. And I'm still so tired. And so we wrote it for like, 20 minutes. We got like a pretty good chorus and left it. And a couple months later, I'm looking with my producers through all my voice memos and Jason Evigan is like, wait, what's that one? And I was like, oh, it's nothing. And he's like, no, that's killer. I'm like, well, we only have like half of a chorus. We don't even finish it. So we got to finish that one because honestly, you need like something a little lighter on this record that is so heavy. So we finished it, recorded it in Nashville. And I never told Michael until it was like completely done. And I'm like, I hope you like it. And he was really sweet. He was like, I love it. I want to sing on it. I love it. So that's how that happened.
I am curious for all of this talk about this recent chapter and this acceptance of faith and all of this transformation and everything else. You were an international relations major. You came up trained thinking you were going to be a diplomat, going and doing international service. Like as rational, logical training as one could, I'm going to go, solve and fix things on this earth. How natural did it come to you to give over to, where you're at now? I mean, how counter to all of that stuff or not, or do they work together for you?
Well, I think that my drive in wanting to international relate people was this desire that is actually the same in my music. It's to unite people. It's to show us our commonalities. It's to bridge gaps of misunderstanding. It's to like bring us back to our core human, to the rawest form that we have. And like, obviously you don't do that as a diplomat, but like that was the same desire. I was speaking a lot of languages. I wanted to understand people. I went to a third world country, to Trinidad, to study abroad. And when I was there, I was interning at a record label too, because I always, I sang too. I was a creative kid. I just like, if you read my Wikipedia, like it doesn't necessarily talk about that, but I was in choirs and a cappella groups and musicals and like theater in any way that like Boston would allow, like a strict conservative Boston neighborhood would allow me to like expand my little artist self. I grabbed it, but there wasn't many outlets. I didn't know many artists. I didn't go to a college with any like bands really. And anyway, so I was in Trinidad and I was interning at the record label, and like there was a band that we were interning for, and they were going to play at the International Soca Monarch Finals. And that is 80,000 people in the Port of Spain in Trinidad. And they were like, and I'm an a cappella nerd, you know, and they were like, does anyone know the backing harmonies? Because we were missing someone. I was like, oh, dude, me. Like, I know them fully, and I would love to be on stage with you. So my first concert with like microphones and ears and a band was to 80,000 people. And and I was in the back of the stage, totally unimportant, you know, but my feeling inside was, this is exactly what I'm supposed to do with my life. How do I get the microphone in the front of the stage? And I just came home and changed everything. And I stopped writing my thesis, and I stopped this, and I just formed a band, and I went to New York City, and I came up in the school of, you know, Bleecker Street, and I played anywhere that anyone would let me for hours. I dragged my 85-pound piano all around New York City, up and down subways, played 1 a.m. to 4 a.m., like super cut my teeth on the street of New York City, and like then bought a van, and like I did it. I earned it, you know, I earned it. But so like, it was a sudden transition. But if I look back through my earlier life, I think I would have seen like the connective dots. Like, yeah, like I feel alive in music class. I feel alive when I'm singing. I sort of played around with trying to copy Tori Amos's. I used to practice singing and playing them. I didn't show it to anyone, but like, anyway, so it was there. It just, I didn't feel brave enough to follow it. And I think that's been a theme in my life a little bit. Like, this is a good theme. Like, until it bursts out of me and needs to be seen, I will kind of be normal, repress until it's like, oh no, bitch. No. Right?
You know what you got to do.
Yeah.
So this, obviously you're going to be out and playing live. And with these kinds of songs, and again, as I said at the top, you know, you've been writing in this neighborhood. That's who you are. But this record in particular is a lot more succinct. There's a lot of power going on. And as you say, you've come through some heavy, really dark shit. And I think in order to make a song happen on stage, you kind of, like an actor, you kind of have to live it. What are these concerts going to be like for you?
To go back into that night after night.
Yeah.
Well, again, that took a lot of therapy because I had to learn not to re-traumatize myself. Like, that was real. You know, like singing Mercy and singing Bad Thoughts. I wrote a song called Bad Thoughts that's about, like, it was originally called Listen to This If You're Having a Panic Attack. And it walks you through a guided meditation in the song. I've never heard a pop song do that. I was like, well, why aren't there like cues for breathing? And so it's a pop song, but there's like inhale, exhale. And so those were really, really hard. And actually, as recently as January, I sang like a Grammy night thing. A Grammy museum dinner thing. And it was the first time I was presenting the new songs. Something else I was suffering with in addition to postpartum was chronic pain and extreme chronic pain. And like on stage, Hoda just interviewed me about this, put this on the Today Show. I was like, oh, we're really going there. But now it's out there on stage. She saw I had to stop the concert in the middle of one of my songs because I had a humongous back spasm. And it was like, I just couldn't go on. And I was crying. And it was it was fucked up. I was like crying to the audience, and there was all like Tastemaker. It was like New York Times, Rolling Stone, and Saturday Night Live Booker.
I was there.
You were there. Yeah, you saw. I mean, I was not okay. And they were re-traumatizing me, and I wasn't okay. And like, so it was going to be a really heavy road and probably a really short road if I didn't figure out how to do this and have boundaries around it and almost, like you said, act it more than deeply go back into it. And I worked with an amazing therapist on it and like EMDR. And I just kind of started to understand, like, my job is not to feel that pain, but feel the joy part of it. Like, because I love music. I love performing more than anything. I love songwriting more than anything. It's the closest I get to God. And like, so now when I'm on stage, I ask, like, use me, you know, like you do again, like you do it. I'm like, you show up, and my voice has never been stronger. And I think my songwriting has never been better. And I think I'm just beginning. And I think that's really because I've finally learned to just like, be like, this is not really about me. You know, this is about all of us. And all of us that have ever felt this like terror of a human who just like am I alone here? And anyway, I go so deep, but like, Alan, my God, what was the experience like for you watching?
It was intense. It was I mean, you saw everybody was there cheering for you and trying to lift you up. I mean, you saw that, you felt that, but everybody was, there were tears on stage, there were tears off stage. I mean, that we knew there was something that was very real that was happening, which is, I'm sure it sucked, but is also all you can, like, I don't want to say all you can ask for, but yeah.
And I kept going and I went on, and I mean, I am the fight song girl after all. And I got through it, and I recovered. And I think like, that's all I want my daughters to do anyway. Right. Not suffer, but to know what to do with suffering, because we're all going to face it. And so I am proud of myself for how my grit.
With this record kind of provided sort of a little clearing in the woods there for people to sort of march through, and, it'll be helpful, I think, for a lot of people. Your songs have that kind of vibe to them. I wish you nothing but luck and good times. Are the kids coming on the road with you?
They're coming this week for the Patriots game, for the halftime show, because
you think Taylor Swift is going to be there.
No. They're actually Chapel Roan fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they got nothing else to do this week anyway, so that's all right.
Yeah, my youngest right. My youngest ride's hard for me though. My oldest is like, Chapel. She's like, no, I want Rachel Platten. I'm like, that's right, baby. It bought your house.
Rachel Platten, so great to talk to you. We thank you so much.
I Am Rachel Platten is the album, and you just heard why. So everybody keep eyes open as she comes through your town.
Rachel, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. It was awesome. You guys are cool.
Welcome back. It is Mark Goodman and Alan Light here on Sound Up.
Each and every week, we turn to you, the Sound Up Pod Squad, to send us your questions, concert reviews, album reviews, and more to get involved. Join our Facebook page at sounduppod.com and stay connected to everything Sound Up related, including future live shows and our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame gathering coming up in just a couple weeks.
October 19th, 10 to noon. We want to see your face in that place. That place being Cleveland.
That place.
That place. So send in your comments or your reviews as text or audio messages to connect@sounduppod.com. Become part of our podcast. We did receive a couple of concert reviews from the one, the only Irish Keith. He saw a couple of shows, Pulp and Paul Weller, and he has this report.
How are you, lads? Let me tell you a quick story. So I went to see Pulp the other night. Fucking brilliant, man. I'm telling you, fucking brilliant. Jarvis Cocker was the business. He's an entertainer and a half. He sounds absolutely bleeding amazing, and still has all his signature moves. He's up there. I don't know what he's doing. He's up there like a robot trying to karate chop a fly or something. I don't know what the fuck he's up to. But he's up there. Looks brilliant, sounding brilliant, man. And they played all the bleeding hits like Misshapes and Monday Morning and Disco 2000. What else did he play? Something Changed and Common People, of course. Everybody loves Common People. All the crowd favourites, man. They were up there, played all the crowd favourites, looked brilliant, sounded brilliant, and it was his birthday. So what song was it? I think it was actually Disco 2000. They were going into the intro of Disco 2000, and he was just about to get into the vocals, and the band changed direction and started singing playing Happy Birthday for him. And then, of course, the whole crowd joins in and sings the Happy Birthday. So it was an absolutely brilliant show, man. Got to celebrate Jarvis Cocker's birthday. And I don't think any of the original members, apart from the good old Irish girl, Candida Doyle, the keyboardist, I think her and Jarvis are the only original members that are still there. But look, that didn't matter. It was an amazing night. They sounded brilliant. They looked brilliant. They played all the hits. I bought a t-shirt, had a few betties. And I'm looking forward to my next concert, which is Paul Weller tomorrow night. I'll call you back on that one. Right, cheers, good luck. Bye.
Aha. So he's just teasing Paul Weller. We'll get Paul Weller next time.
Oh, no, we have Paul Weller. He sent these back to back.
He came back.
So now here's his Paul Weller review.
How are you, lads? I just realised I'm calling in for 2 concert reviews that will probably air on the same show. So you're not going to play me twice unless I can keep this under 30 seconds. So, Weller was stellar. Ta-da! Bye.
Wow. Well done, Irish
Just
Keith.
giving us the headline and moving on.
Damn. We could have spared you another 15, 20 seconds.
Just to get a little more detail on it. But
something.
He's very respectful of our time. I understand.
He's not wasting anybody's time.
No.
Nobody like
He's
Irish
great.
Keith. We need him around.
We love your concert reviews. And as we said, going in, please send us your reviews as text or audio message. Audio message is the best. If you can, keep it relatively brief, fine. Connect at sounduppod.com. Become part of our podcast.
If you're shy, feel free to write it out and send it in. We can read it for you. We don't want to hold you back. We don't need the stage fright. We're here to get your thoughts across.
All right. Before we roll up here, let's check into our new music picks of the week. Alan, what you got?
Want me to lead? I can lead.
Yeah.
We'll hold back at the end for the biggest new song of the week in terms of headlines. Roger will lead that one. We'll get there, folks. But the two that I want to bring to the table, people maybe noticed a new song from Stevie Nicks that came out on Friday. A reminder that Stevie will be appearing on Saturday Night Live on October 12th. The endless coolness of Stevie Nicks never stops. Stevie released a statement about this song, The Lighthouse. She said, I wrote this song a few months after Roe v. Wade was overturned. It seemed like overnight people were saying, what can we as a collective force do about this? For me, it was to write a song. She goes on through this statement explaining when and where she did it, and then says, this may be the most important thing I ever do, to stand up for the women of the United States and their daughters and granddaughters and the men that love them. So The Lighthouse, really interesting song, kind of long, 6 minutes or so. Different parts to it. It's a sort of almost recited, kind of not chanted, but like not really sung through part that then explodes into this sort of big B section bridge. I don't even know. There's a lot going on within this song. She did it with Sheryl Crow and with Dave Cobb, who are listed as co-producers, I think, on this. That's right, if I'm remembering that right. Produced by Stevie Nicks, Sheryl Crow, and Dave Cobb. Cobb plays guitar, Sheryl plays guitar and bass, Waddy Wachtel plays some guitars, and, created in multiple studios over time and has that feel of it's a big swing. And I think a really, a powerful and a unexpected song. I assume she'll be doing this on SNL, and that will be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
My other song comes from, I mentioned a few weeks ago that when I went to see Childish Gambino, Willow opened. And I was really taken with and surprised by her set, which in my head was still the sort of pop punk Willow.
Yeah.
And that isn't at all what she was doing. It was much more this sort of moody, jazzy, more atmospheric sort of a thing that really worked and that really was very different for her voice, very different for, what the songs were like. And I guess she just keeps adding to the album in the way that people do nowadays. So there's a new song that came out on Friday that's the latest expanded version of the album, but a song called Wanted with Kamasi Washington playing saxophone throughout, and shows this side of Willow that, again, I was just behind. It's my fault because I didn't listen to the new album enough to have a sense of where she was at. But it's sort of not classifiable. Is it an R&B song? Is it a jazz song? Is it a pop song? Like, what is this? Which is always great when people can do that, especially an artist like this can do that. It doesn't really fit into any particular category, but has a really nice feel. I like it a lot. So Wanted from Willow is my other pick.
I love both of those so much. Really great. Willow especially, but I'm surprised that that's the way that she is in concert now.
It was totally a different thing with more sort of fusion-y, lots of music, lots of playing and lots of like sophisticated playing. And it was really cool.
Roger, I'm going to jump in. I know you have two, but one of those we're going to want to really, I want to hear what you guys think about this one in particular. But for me, for songs today, I went full on dance. And just because that's what was floating my boat this weekend, there is a DJ called Solar Track. I don't know that much about him. When you search Solar Track online, you get stuff about solar power and crap like that. So I tried hyphenating it. I tried pushing the words together. Nothing. But I will say that I love this track, and it is out there. It's Solar Track with Laura Louise and Rooney. Now, Rooney. I should mention I should mention because Rooney, there is a band, Rooney, that's opening for ELO right now. That's not this guy. Rooney is a British DJ who got involved with a song
he's got to be Rooney UK.
Or, you're right. Why didn't anybody force that on him like we have on so many bands? So the song is called "What Have You Done?" and I picked the Solar Track Basement Edit. There's a couple of different versions. My other pick, again, dancey, and both of these are very, very house oriented, and that's my favorite. Clean Bandit, who is a great British trio, Grace Chatto and the Patterson brothers, Jack and Luke. And Anne Marie is featured on this one, and the song is called Crybaby, and it is the David Guetta VIP mix. Both of these slap. I'll just say that.
Just say that. Great.
Roger.
Okay, I have two this week. We recently had Chris Carrabba from Dashboard Confessional on our last episode where he talked about a bunch of these collaborations he's doing. And when I went to see him live recently at Pier 17, he did this song live. The song is called Watch the Fire, and it is a collaboration with Boys Like Girls who are opening this tour. So they actually got to perform this song live together. And it is just a great song. It really, really showcases both Chris's vocal style and Boys Like Girls. As you said, Mark, Chris has a great way of turning a phrase. And this song really kind of highlights how good he is as a songwriter. And it's just a great kind of poppy, alt, emo-y track.
Like he does.
Great chorus.
He does.
And that's not always easy to do, to be able to mix that quality of songwriting with the great kind of hook, and especially when you're working with another artist. So Chris said he's going to be doing a lot more of these collaborations. I hope he does, because it's bringing out some really interesting stuff. But this is a song I listened to continuously over the weekend because it's really just that good.
If you missed our Chris Carrabba interview, go back and listen.
For sure.
Don't miss
That's right.
It's there. It's there for your listening pleasure.
And then there was one other random small
this one
drop this week where The Cure dropped a single, announced an album. We have been talking about this. We've been waiting for this song. This is their first new song in 16 years.
And we had him on our show, Alan, it was 5 years ago at least. Right?
Probably right. Yeah.
And then it was by the end of the year, I'll have a new album.
And they have been playing this song and a bunch of other new songs on the recent tour.
But there's been so much leading up to this, including the possibility of a Robert Smith solo album, a Disintegration Part 2 album. All of this stuff has just been kind of floating around. And then finally, last week, The Cure dropped Alone, which is, I forget how long this song
Almost
is.
7 minutes.
It's almost 7 minutes.
And how long's the intro, Roger?
About 4 of those 7 minutes is just music.
Yeah.
And then you get the amazing Robert Smith, who sounds as good as ever, with this incredibly moody, dreamy, depressing.
It's bleak. It's
song.
bleak.
It is.
Now, he had said this is going to be the most depressing Cure album that I've ever made, which is saying something, but seems to be delivering the goods.
He really is. And what I loved about this song so much was it was very reminiscent of a song from Disintegration called Plain Song, which is a song with a very moody open, very sparse kind of lyrics, and a song that they would use to open a lot of shows. So I was thrilled when I heard this, because it's very much in line with what The Cure does so well. I mean, a lot of times, what's so great about The Cure is Robert Smith is very good about taking very depressing, sometimes lyrics, putting them over very kind of upbeat music, and vice versa. This one kind of doubles down on the moodiness of the music and the heaviness of the lyrics.
It's super beautiful. I mean, I think it's
beautiful
great.
and sounds like The Cure.
Yeah.
It sounds like The Cure 100%. I guess maybe it's me. I have a shorter attention span than I used to in the 80s, I think, if that's even possible. I have my problems with the intro. Once he got into singing, and you knew what he was thinking and feeling about being alone. The song's called Alone. I was into it more. I listened to it like 3 or 4 times, and there should be a single edit for radio.
There might be. Who knows? And the other thing about this song that's a little different than Plain Song and other songs The Cure has done like this, and this could just be, it's been 16 years since, a Cure release. The industry has changed. Normally I expect songs like this from The Cure to be produced a little more wet and spacey. This one's it goes along with the lyrics. It's very like a dry mix and very different from the way they've mixed stuff in the past.
A little more claustrophobic sort of feel to it.
Yeah. But it does lend itself to the lyrics of this song and the feel of this song.
Yeah, like when we listened to it, my son, who's a fan, said, look, that is exactly what I would think a Cure song 16 years later would sound like, but it's a really good version of that.
Right.
And that's sort of what it is. There's not a big surprise here. Again, especially since they have been playing these shows, since we know, from the live performances, what the feel of the new songs are. This is that. But it's really good.
It's really good.
Songs from a Lost World will be the new one.
November 1st.
November 1.
1st.
I wonder if they're going to drop more between now and then, or this was like, hey, here's a song, album's coming.
Yeah, will there be more between now and then, you mean?
Yeah, but will they drop another single or two?
Yeah, I would love that.
It's not too far away. We're a month out.
Oh, and by the way, if you go to the Cure's website, there are multiple versions of this release that you can pre-order, including Alan's favorite. Alan, if you want to get the cassette version, it is up there on the website.
Oh, that's so sweet. They put it out on cassette? Aw. All right. So that does it. That wraps up this edition of Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light. Thanks. Very, very big thanks to Rachel Platten for joining us. Don't forget to check us out on socials and YouTube for exclusive content, full video episodes, and more, all at Sound Up Pod.
Please give us a 5-star review, won't you? Go over and do it. Like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube page, and email us any thoughts at connect@sounduppod.com.
Thanks to you, our Sound Up Pod squad, and everyone beyond for listening and supporting us here on Sound Up with Mark Goodman and Alan Light. We will catch you next week.
Sound Up is hosted by Mark Goodman and Alan Light, produced by Roger Coletti for Roger That Media, and distributed by Revolver Podcasts. Theme music from Smile from Tokyo. For more information, go to sounduppod.com.
Roger that.